Hello class, I wanted to give you a visual representation of the partitioning scheme that we used in class, just so that you would have something to study by. Now I know there are a lot of other videos and I'm not trying to compete with YouTube, but I wanted you to make certain that you had something that lined up with what we talked about in class and also the book. Okay, so the steps of quicksort are always going to be the same. So partition, no matter how partition is accomplished, it's always the first step. We're trying to get things that are smaller than the pivot on the left-hand side and things that are larger than the pivot on the right-hand side. We consider these to be two separate sublists, effectively. So once we've done that, we're going to quicksort the left side recursively, and then quicksort the right side recursively, breaking our problem into smaller and smaller chunks, hopefully about half at each time. Okay? Now the partitioning scheme that we reviewed in class follows this flow chart. Okay? So it's what I'd like you to be familiar with for the exam. Now again, the code can help you reinforce this, but the theory is what we really care about here. So this version starts off by putting P at 0 for our list. L will be 1 plus whatever P is, so if P is 0, L starts off at 1, and R is going to go at the very rightmost element. Okay? Now remember our goal, we want big things to be on this side, small things to be on this side, as long as they're smaller than whatever's in pivot, and then the right thing should be bigger than pivot. Okay? So for our algorithm, when we start off, we're not done yet. Okay? Not done. So we're going to start moving this left pointer. So is L less than or equal to R? It is. And are the contents of L less than or equal to P? No, they are not. So currently, we have something that is big relative to P, and it's too close to the beginning of the list. So we are going to want a way to put it towards the end. Okay? But because this condition is false, we're going to move on to moving R. So as long as L is less than or equal to R, which it is, okay, and then we check, are the contents of list at R greater than or equal to the contents of P? They're not, right? So this second condition is false. We're going to check, is R less than L? It is not. Now we're going to swap. Right? We've got something that's too small for the right-hand side and something that's too big for the left-hand side. Once we swap them, they're in much better positions for our algorithm. And when we're done with the swap, we go all the way back to start moving them again. Okay? Left is L less than R? It is. And are the contents of L less than the contents of P? They are, so we move up. Is L less than R? It is. Are the contents of L less than or equal to the contents of P? They are. L is still less than R, but now the contents of L are larger than the contents of P. So we found something that's probably a little too left. We probably want to put it over there towards the right. So this condition is now false, and we go to check and start moving R. So is L less than R? It is. Are the contents of R greater than or equal to the contents of P? They are. We have something pretty big, and it should stay there. Okay? Check it again. Is L less than R? It is. Are the contents of R greater than or equal to the contents of P? They're not. We have something that's a little bit too small, that's too far to the right. So R stops moving. R is not smaller than L, so we will swap the contents, taking something that's a little bit too small, putting it on the left, something that's a little too big, putting it on the right. Now, we're going to keep doing this process. So L is less than R. Is the contents of L less than or equal to the contents of P? It is. L is less than or equal to R. Are the contents of L less than or equal to the contents of P? They are. Are the contents of L less than or equal to the contents of P? It is. Is L less than or equal to R? It is. But the contents of L for 93 are now greater than the contents of P. So we stop moving L. Our second question, is L less than or equal to R? It is, they're equal. The contents of R greater than or equal to the contents of P? They are. It's a big thing, it should be towards the right. So R will be minus minus, okay? Gets a little bit smaller, moving towards the left. Now, at this point they've crossed, right? We have a check, is L less than or equal to R? It is not, which means we move here. And for the first time, R is less than L. Now at this point, we are done. We go all the way back up. We have our initial check, are we done? we are. Swap list contents of R with contents of P. Now at this point, we would return R so that we know what the boundary of the left partition is and the boundary of the right partition. Right marks the home for what was originally our pivot. Everything to the right is larger than our pivot. Everything to the left is smaller than our pivot. So whenever we begin to do this recursively, we would start off with this, ignoring this. So this first quicksort left partition would put P at 28, L pointing to 7, and R pointing to 18. And the process would continue again until both the left subtree and the right subtree are sorted, following these rules. Okay, so that's quicksort. Feel free to practice on your own, and good luck.